Hi guys, welcome back to our podcast. So today, Valentine has got something super creepy for you on. We will call today's story The Whispering Caller. And I'm already getting goosebumps just thinking about it.
Yeah, I know. When I first heard about this story, I literally couldn't sleep that night.
Yeah, it's pretty intense. You know those stories that they just stick with you? This is definitely one of those.
It totally is. And the crazy thing is, it's not just some urban legend or, something someone made up. This actually happened to real people, like actual human beings.
Exactly. And what makes it even scarier is that it involves something we all use every single day.
Phones. Oh God, everyone's gonna be so paranoid about their phones after this.
Right? I've actually been keeping my phone in another room at night since I heard this story.
Same. And wait until they hear about what happened to that family's dog. But I don't want to get ahead of ourselves.
So, this all started back in March 2020. And at first it seemed totally innocent, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And the Reynolds family, they were just like any normal family. They had no idea what was coming.
So their daughter Emily, she was 17 at the time, and she started noticing these weird, glitches with her phone.
Yes, exactly. It started with these really small things, like her phone would just randomly buzz at super weird hours.
And there were all these missed calls.
Right, from numbers that, didn't exist. And the creepiest part was these voicemails that were just static and these really faint whispers.
God, that gives me chills. And her parents, they didn't believe her at first, right?
No, they didn't. Like her dad was all, oh, it's probably just a bug and stuff. But get this, Emily started telling them that her phone was literally texting her friends by itself.
Wait, what? Actually sending messages?
Yes. And you know how parents are? They were like, oh, you probably just forgot you sent those texts or whatever. But Emily, she knew something wasn't right.
I mean, if my phone started doing that, I think I'd completely freak out.
Totally. And this was just the beginning. The stuff that started happening after this, oh my God, it gets so much worse.
I'm almost afraid to ask what happened next.
So, what happened next is just, absolutely terrifying. The calls started getting super threatening, and I mean really threatening.
What kind of threats are we talking about?
Okay, so they'd get these calls in the middle of the night, right? And the voice, oh my God, the voice was just, it wasn't normal, It was all distorted and scratchy.
Not even human?
Exactly. And it would just whisper. Imagine someone standing right next to your bed in the dark, just breathing into your ear.
Oh God, stop, that's horrible.
And the things they said, we see you, and your dog won't be barking much longer. But the worst part, the absolute worst part, was that they knew things, specific things about the family.
What do you mean specific things?
Okay, so there was this one time with Emily's mom, Sarah. She was just, in the kitchen, right? Just cutting up some limes for a drink. Totally normal stuff.
Yeah.
And then her phone rings. Unknown number, of course. And when she answers it, this voice just chuckles, super creepy, and says, I prefer lemons.
No. How would they even know what she was doing?
Right? Someone or something was watching them. And it gets worse, because they started mentioning really private stuff, like conversations the family had inside their house.
Wait, inside their house? You mean
Yeah. They'd get these voicemails playing back things they'd said in private, like stuff about their mortgage or telling Emily to lock her window. It was like nothing was private anymore.
That's actually making me feel sick. I can't even imagine how terrifying that must have been.
And you know what? The family tried everything. They changed their numbers, got new phones, they even took the batteries out at night. But it just kept happening.
Oh God, so what did they do? How do you even deal with something like that?
Well, that's the thing. Nothing they did worked. And then it got even worse, because suddenly it wasn't just their phones anymore.
What do you mean? What else was happening?
So one night the family was just trying to have a normal evening, Just sitting together, watching TV, trying to forget about all this crazy stuff.
I mean, I totally get that. Trying to feel normal again?
Right. But then, oh man, the TV just started, glitching out. There was this weird static, and the picture kept sort of flickering between the normal show and something else.
Something else?
Yeah, this dark shape that seemed to be moving behind the static. And I swear, Lisa, they said it looked like it was watching them through the screen.
Okay, now you're seriously freaking me out.
And then the TV speakers they started making this crackling sound, And this voice came through and just said, "We're inside."
No, no, no. Please tell me you're joking.
I wish I was. The screen just went black, and Emily, she completely lost it, started screaming. But the worst part, the absolute worst part was what happened that night.
What? What happened?
Emily, she woke up in the middle of the night because she heard her own voice whispering from inside her closet.
Oh my God, stop. I literally have goosebumps right now.
And the next morning, their dog was they found it dead on the porch.
That's absolutely horrifying.
Yeah, like, imagine living through that. Everything you trust, every piece of technology just turning against you.
So, did they, call the police or anything? Because this is way beyond just pranks at this point.
Oh yeah, they absolutely did. But here's the thing. The police were just, completely stumped.
What do you mean?
Well, every time they tried to trace one of these calls, it was coming from completely different places. And sometimes the calls were somehow coming from multiple locations at the same time.
Wait, what? How is that even possible?
Right? And get this, when they were investigating, this one officer, he took Emily's phone to examine it, right? And literally moments later, his own phone just starts buzzing.
No way.
The message said, "Put it down, officer. This isn't for you."
That's terrifying.
And you know what's even worse? Emily tried to escape it all by staying at a friend's house.
Oh God, please don't tell me.
At exactly 3:33 in the morning, her friend's phone rang.
Of course it did.
The voice just said, "You can't hide from us, Emily." But here's the really messed up part. The call? It came from Emily's own number.
But her phone wasn't even with her, right?
Exactly. That was literally the last time Emily ever used a cell phone. Ever. Can you blame her?
After something like that? No way. I'd probably throw my phone in a lake or something.
You know what's really wild? Even after all of this, after they moved away, got completely new devices, everything, they never felt safe again.
And I mean, how could they? After everything that happened?
Right, and the thing is, it didn't exactly stop either. They'd still sometimes hear this weird static on their TVs, or these scratching sounds in the walls that just shouldn't be there.
Oh God, please don't tell me the phone calls.
Yep. Their phones would still light up sometimes, always in the middle of the night, always from unknown numbers.
That's absolutely terrifying. But there has to be some kind of explanation, right?
Well, some people think it was just, some super sophisticated hacker with this crazy surveillance setup.
But that doesn't explain everything though, does it?
No, it really doesn't. And that's why. Well, some people think it was something way worse. Something that doesn't even need technology to reach you.
What do you mean?
Think about it. How did they know about the lime in the kitchen? How were they making calls from Emily's number when she didn't even have her phone? And the voice is coming from inside the walls.
Stop. You're literally giving me chills right now.
And here's the thing that really gets me. Nobody ever figured out where those calls came from. Not a single one was ever properly traced. The threats were never explained. The dog's death. Everything that happened to them. It's like it vanished into thin air.
But surely someone must have looked into it more. There must be some kind of, I don't know, investigation or something.
That's just it. Every time someone tried to dig deeper, the trail just went cold. It's like whatever was doing this knew exactly how to cover its tracks.
Okay, I'm definitely turning off my phone tonight.
Yeah, and you might want to especially avoid answering any calls at 3:33 a.m. from unknown numbers.
Stop it. You're making it worse.
But seriously though, what really terrifies me is thinking about how many other similar cases might be out there. How many other families might be going through something like this right now? Just too scared to talk about it?
Oh my God, Val, I literally don't think I'm gonna sleep tonight.
I know, right? This one really got to me too. You know what's crazy? I keep wanting to check my phone to make sure it's not,
Don't. Just don't even say it. I'm already jumping every time my phone makes any noise.
Sorry, but this has got to be one of the creepiest stories we've heard so far, don't you think?
Absolutely. And usually I'm pretty skeptical about these things, but this one, there's just something about it that feels so...
Real? Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
God, I'm gonna have to sleep with my phone in another room tonight.
Maybe we both should. But hey, thanks everyone for listening to another episode of our scary podcasts.
Yeah, and if you're listening to this at night, maybe turn on some lights.
And definitely don't answer any unknown calls.
Oh my god, stop. But yes, we'll see you all next time, if we survive the night.
Bye everyone. Stay safe out there.